Morning, members. Can I please ask you to remind you to ensure mobile phones and other devices are on silent, that banners, etc. are not permitted, and members of the public are not allowed to address the meeting, to use the microphones which are available when addressing the meeting, and that you may be filmed or recorded during the meeting. Thank you. Please be upstanding for the chairman.
Right, good morning everybody, and welcome to County Hall. Can we remain standing please while my chaplain, the Reverend Paul Massey, leads us in prayers? Thank you.
We commence our meeting today by giving thanks for the life of former County Councillor Tony Rutherford, who sadly passed away. In a time of silence, we remember the service given by him to this county. Gracious God, we boldly ask that you would pour out your richest blessing upon our meeting. We know that you love to bless your children, and that Jesus Christ has secured all of our blessings for us. So we ask that you would bless each person present with your grace and favour, that our decisions may be wise, our interactions be cordial, and your presence felt in our midst. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today to discuss important matters, we ask for your guidance and wisdom. You are the source of all knowledge and understanding. Therefore, we seek your direction in our decision-making processes. Help us to listen attentively to one another with open hearts and minds. May we not be quick to judge or criticize, but instead seek to understand different perspectives. We pray that you will give us the discernment to make the best decisions for the greater good. We trust that you will guide us on this path and lead us to reach a consensus that reflects your will. May our words and actions be always guided by your love and grace. For this we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Right, thank you. Colleagues. So we have a busy agenda. We have a busier agenda today, so we'll make a start. Now, the first item on the agenda is the election of leader, which is on the agenda due to Councillor Bradley standing down for family and personal reasons. I would like to remind members that there is no debate on this item. So I'd like to ask Councillor Bruce Lawton to move the appointment of Councillor Sam Smith as leader of the council until the annual meeting in 2025. So Councillor Lawton.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I would like to move the appointment of Councillor Sam Smith as leader of the council until the annual meeting 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lawton. And can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Barnfather.
Thank you, Chairman. Formally second the motion.
Thank you. And I need to ask Councillor Smith if you accept the nomination.
I accept, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And do we have any other nominations for leader? No. Okay, so we can move on. I therefore. We need to vote, don't we? So we need to vote. Yes, good point. So spot the deliberate mistake there. I need a show of hands, please, for those in favour of Councillor Smith being leader until the annual meeting. Nice and clearly, because we have to count them. Okay, hands down. So thank you, colleagues. I declare that Councillor Sam Smith has been.
Abstain.
No. Yes, on this it's literally just a vote for, and yeah. So I therefore declare that Councillor Sam Smith has been duly elected as leader of the council until the annual meeting in 2025. Councillor Smith. Would you like to address the chamber?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. Thank you, colleagues, for electing me as leader of our great county council. If you'd have told 13-year-old me, who attended Gedling Comp and began campaigning for better education standards, that I'd one day serve as Cabinet Member for Education and Send, and then go on to become leader of this county council, I am not sure I would have believed it, Mr. Chairman. It is a privilege and an honour to have become leader today and have my family watching from the gallery. I remain constantly grateful to them for their support, as us politicians know how much time we sacrifice with our family to carry out our services on this council. Mr. Chairman, I thank Councillor Bradley for his leadership over the past 3.5 years. Nottinghamshire is a better place as a result. I also thank my Conservative colleagues for their support and officers of this council for the work they do day in, day out for our residents. At this council, we have an outstanding track record of delivering on the priorities of Nottinghamshire residents, and it is a record that I am extremely proud of. Since 2017, Conservative administrations of this council have delivered libraries in every community. We're improving SEND services. We're putting in flood protection schemes in communities across the county, including in Woodborough, Burton Joyce, Loudon, Beacon Hill and Horton. Roads are being repaired. Youth services are being enjoyed. We have well-managed budgets. Bus routes are being protected, particularly in rural areas. We're expanding schools and building new ones. And we have a capital programme of over £100 million that is improving communities right across our county. And we've done all that, Mr. Chairman, whilst keeping council tax as low as possible. As leader, I will work tirelessly to build on those successes and to keep this council delivering on the key priorities of all residents across our county in every part of it. Whilst focusing on delivery, another of to this council, and that's something we'll be debating later, so I won't go into it now. Continuing SEND improvements also remains a focus of mine, and working with the East Midlands Combined Authority as a member of the board, banging the drum for Nottinghamshire on transport infrastructure, skills, investment and funding. I look forward to working closer with the Mayor to delivering these key priorities, particularly on projects like Step Fusion in Bassetlaw, which will provide thousands of highly skilled green jobs for Nottinghamshire residents, including hundreds of apprenticeships for young people. Mr. Chairman, leadership of this council by me and the Conservatives is focused purely on delivery for Nottinghamshire residents as part of our ongoing drive to make our county a great place to live, work and visit. I look forward to working with councillors across this chamber our outstanding officers and Nottinghamshire residents for them. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. And offer my congratulations to you as well. So we move on to minutes of the previous meeting. Can we agree to approve those minutes, please? All happy? Yep, thank you. I'll sign them later on. And apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies for absence? First of all, Councillor Barnfather.
Thank you, Chairman. Firstly, may I congratulate the leader on his appointment. I have apologies from Councillor Matt Barney for other reasons.
Thank you. And Councillor Henry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Got apologies from Michael Payne, MP, and Michelle Welsh, MP, for other reasons, and also apologies from Councillor John Clark, who is having some transport difficulties and will be late this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Deakin.
Thank you, Chair. I've got apologies from Councillor Williamson and Councillor Madden on illness, and Councillor Purdue-Harant will be joining us after lunch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have we got a note of those? Okay. So, declarations of interest. If any councillor or officer has an interest in any matter on the agenda, you should declare it now. Please raise your hand now if you have an interest to declare. When called to speak, you should state what type of interest it is and give brief details. So, any declarations of interest? Councillor Adair first.
Oh, sorry. On the motion that comes up later, as a director of VIA on behalf of the council, I would declare that interest.
Okay, and Councillor Jackson.
Yeah, it's the same interest, and I'm advised it's a non-pecuniary interest, and we can stay in the debate and vote.
Okay, thank you. Any other declarations? No. So we've got those. Thank you very much. So on to Chairman's business. Now we have 4 awards this morning, and which is always a lovely thing to do. So the first one is the Public Service Excellence Award, Best Collaborative Working. And Councillor Girling, would you like to introduce the award, please?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman, and congratulations, Sam, for your elevation to being leader. As councillors, we rely totally on our officers, and excuse me. And within EDAM, I'm blessed that I've got some absolutely excellent officers that really care about Nottinghamshire and do all they can to make sure that everything they do is of an excellent standard. And they sort of make me look good, so that's even better, isn't it? So it says, well, is that possible? Reasonably good then, reasonably good. But I'm delighted to announce that Nottinghamshire County Council has been named a finalist with the high commendation in both our categories at the National APSI Awards 2024. The APSI Award recognises excellence in local government services across the UK, celebrating innovation, collaboration and outstanding community impact in public service. These commendations reflect the Council's commitment to excellence and collaborative success. First, in Best Collaborative Working category, our growth, infrastructure and development teams have been recognised excuse me, for their outstanding partnership with the Nottinghamshire districts, boroughs and wider partners, driving initiatives in business support, people development, place shaping, visitor economy, digital innovation and infrastructure. Thank you to all involved. Together we are making Nottinghamshire a place to be proud of. Ladies and gentlemen, the team. Thanks.
I was just going to invite Councillor Girling. You're a little bit ahead of the game here. Can I just
read the description?
Yes. Could I just check with you because you have another award coming?
Yes, I'll do that now.
Is that the same award as this one, or is it a separate award?
It's a separate one.
Right. Okay. So you can do.
I'll read that out then, Tim.
No, we'll do that in a moment. So because I wasn't sure if you were doing the 2 together, we'll do the 2 separately. So you can now come and present the first award. Yes.
There you go.
Just wants to be clear for clarity.
It went. Petitions. Your hard work, innovation have greatly improved the quality of life in our communities. This success won't be possible without the support of wider team partners. Together we're creating a stronger, safer future. Well done. That doesn't sound right. Is that right? That's not right, is it?
I think. Do you want to start again, Councillor Gurley? Have you got the right notes?
Oh, here we go. I've got it. Sorry. It's them pills I've taken this morning. They're not working very well. Okay, start again. Phase 2, Chairman, if you don't mind. I will get this right. I hope there's no questions for me today, is there? Okay. Best service team, soft facilities management category. Our property safety and facilities management team has been commended for its commitment to excellence. Well done.
That's okay, Councillor. I do know that you are. I do. On a serious note, I do appreciate you are a little genuinely under the weather at the moment. So thank you. So we move on to our third award today, which is Youth Service Recognition of the Young Carer Friendly Certificate. Mouthful, isn't it? And this is going to be introduced by Councillor Tracy Taylor. So if you'd like to introduce the award, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, with that introduction, this is where it all goes horribly wrong. And I wouldn't want to start any kind of interdepartmental competition, but despite his nice words, I have to say to Councillor Gurley, my department's better than your department. No, not. Okay. So, Chairman, it's with immense pride and gratitude that I stand here today to celebrate a significant achievement for Notts County Council's youth service. I'm delighted to announce that our youth service has been awarded the Young Carer Friendly Quality Mark Certificate. This recognition, presented by the Notts Carers Association, highlights our unwavering commitment to enhancing support for young carers across our county. Our young carers are truly remarkable. They juggle the demands of growing up with the immense responsibility of caring for family members. These extraordinary young people often sacrifice their own opportunities to support others, and we must do all that we can to support them. This recognition reflects the hard work, dedication and vision of our youth service. In collaboration with the Nottinghamshire Carers Association and the Young Carers Notts service, our youth workers have completed a comprehensive training programme designed to better equip them with the tools and the knowledge they need. This training also fosters professional curiosity when engaging with young people, helping our staff to identify those who may have caring responsibilities and to offer tailored support. Young carers regularly access our youth service, and our priority is to ensure that these young people feel seen, heard and supported. I'm also thrilled to share that Young Carers Notts run monthly support groups at 5 of our young people's centres, with plans to expand to additional locations in 2025. So this recognition is not just a certificate, it's a testament to the values we uphold as a council. It signifies our commitment to ensuring that every young carer in Nottinghamshire has access to the resources, support and opportunities that they deserve. I want to express my heartfelt thanks to the youth service and to all of the youth workers and the carers champions who make this possible. Their dedication to identifying and supporting young carers ensures that our youth service remains inclusive and welcoming to all. And this achievement also reflects the strength of our partnership with Nottinghamshire Carers Association and the Young Carers Not service. And together, we're creating an environment where young carers can thrive, grow, and access the same opportunities as their peers. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. So congratulations to the Council's Youth Service for being recognised as a young carer-friendly service and for receiving the Carer-Friendly Quality Mark Certificate in recognition of its efforts to provide enhanced support and safe spaces for our young carers across the county. This is a brilliant and well-deserved acknowledgement, and I would also like to thank everyone who has been involved in developing this partnership, including Nottinghamshire Carers Association and the Young Carers Not service. So I'd now like to invite Pom Bogle, the Group Manager for Young People Services, and Andy Alsop, Team Manager, together with Councillor Taylor, to come up to receive your award. So if you'd like to come up. Right, and we move on to our fourth award, which again is Councillor Taylor. This is the Celebrating 50 Years of Shadow. So, Councillor Taylor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman and members of Council. It's an absolute privilege to be here today to honour the incredible contributions of the Youth Service and Knots Outdoors in delivering the Shadow event, which has now reached this absolutely remarkable 50-year milestone. For those who may not be familiar, Shadow is a unique overnight event that takes place in the heart of Sherwood Forest. It brings young people together to participate in a series of exciting challenges and activities to test their creativity, teamwork and problem-solving skills. Under the cover of darkness, through to the early hours of the night, participants navigate the forest to find these activities, building their confidence, resilience and independence along the way. The event provides an unforgettable adventure where young people push their boundaries, forge new friendships and develop vital life skills. And I'll pause to thank those members who've participated in the years I've been involved to actually attend these events and actually see the young people and all of the youth workers and supporters that help them. Shadow has always been more than just an event. It's a celebration of youth potential, creativity and collaboration. Over the years, it's provided countless young people with unique opportunities to grow as individuals and to contribute meaningfully to their communities. The legacy of Shadow is far-reaching, with past participants as far back as the 1970s still recounting their experiences and the positive impacts that the event had on them. This achievement would not have been possible without the invaluable contributions of our partners and volunteers. Their dedication and support ensure the smooth running of the event and enhance the experience for everyone involved. And I'd also like to take a moment to thank our ARC partnership for their sponsorship this year, which has played a valuable role in helping us to deliver this significant milestone event. This legacy is testament to the hard work, vision and dedication of everyone who's contributed to Shadow's success. To those receiving the award today, your efforts have been instrumental in ensuring that Shadow continues to make such a meaningful impact, and for that we're deeply grateful. Thank you for your commitment and for making Shadow such a treasured part of Nottinghamshire's story. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. So today we have the privilege of recognising an extraordinary milestone, 50 years of Shadow. It's a remarkable event that has shaped the lives of countless young people across Nottinghamshire. For half a century, Shadow has stood as a testament to the power of collaboration, creativity, and the enduring commitment to providing opportunities for young people to shine. This milestone is not just about years, but about the dedication and passion of the individuals and teams who have supported it. I would like to celebrate the youth service and Notts Outdoors and the vital role they have played in delivering Shadow and ensuring its continued success. I'd now like to invite Pom Bogle, again, Group Manager for Young People Services, and Gary Richards, Service Manager, Notts Outdoors, together with Councillor Taylor, to come up to the dais. And as they're coming up, I might just say I've had the privilege of attending Shadow a few times over the years, and it's a remarkable thing. Sort of 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night in the middle of Sherwood Forest. It's a real experience. So if anyone gets the opportunity, do join in. It's great fun. But anyway, Councillor Taylor, please come up to the dais. Super. No, it really is a great thing, Shadow. It's a wonderful experience. Excellent job. So, since our last meeting previous meeting in September, I've attended 26 formal events and activities. I won't list them all, but highlights included an event only last Friday, and it's linked to the awards we've just had. This was the 4 Youth Awards ceremony, where young people from every district who, against many odds, have excelled. They were celebrated, and it was a wonderful evening. As mentioned at the beginning of my term, I have been out visiting county council teams, and this time with councillors Jonathan Wheeler and councillor Tom Smith, visiting our short breaks facilities in Worksop and meeting staff at Lawnview House and the adult care teams at Sherwood Energy Village. And we know how good our teams are. It was a wonderful experience to see the work in action that at the end of the day we're responsible for creating, been involved with. I've attended, as you might expect, I've attended several remembrance services and events in Ashfield. That was remarkable. It was a joint event with the fire service in Ashfield, and it included a real life or a reenactment, I should say, of a blitz, for want of a better description, at the fire station. It's quite remarkable. They brought out 1940s fire equipment and engines, and it was great, wonderful experience. So that was it makes you remember the seriousness, especially this year, but the 80th year of D-Day, we remember D-Day. And I've also attended the county and city remembrance services at the War Memorial and County Hall. I was also delighted to be asked to present some prizes and awards at both the Mansfield Harriers Running Club and also the 6th Mansfield Boys Brigade, where Councillor Henshaw and his colleagues made me most welcome. And as indeed were the bangers and mash that we were given on that very snowy night. You know, we had the snow a few weeks ago, that Monday night. That's what we were doing. We were celebrating and handing out awards, and the bangers and mash were fantastic. So thank you, Councillor Henshaw, and please pass on again my thanks. A week or two ago, I visited the Middlegate Centre in Beeston with Councillor Fole, and also joined the High Sheriff of Nottinghamshire and other senior business people and dignitaries on a visit to Ranby Prison, where we explored and learned about the training that is carried out there to help to rehabilitate inmates. And that was genuinely, it was eye-opening, it was interesting. I didn't really know what to expect, but the work that goes on in Ranby and indeed other prisons to try and get people who, for whatever reason, are in prison, to try and get them on the right road again to build skills and ready for when they come out. So that was a very interesting experience. One or two of my colleagues did suggest would I escape, and I did, and which is quite a relief. But no, it's a serious point, but it was a genuinely worthwhile visit. And then finally, we had a spectacular County Hall Christmas lights switch on last week. We were helped by children from Camberby Lane School, Copgrave, I'm bound to say this, but I have to say as well, they were an absolute credit to the school and to the county. They sang to us, and they had a lovely time. The amazing thing as well is, and I promise you I didn't tell them they'd got to do this, but they all insisted on coming into the County Hall and having a walk around, and they all wanted to come and see the chamber. And I know we take it for granted, but the children came in and they all immediately made themselves at home. And I thought, yeah, we've got some future leaders here. And some of the questions they come up with, these primary school children, some of the questions they ask sometimes are quite hard to answer. So wonderful evening, and thank you colleagues who came along to light switch on. So moving on, lunch today will be approximately 12:30. And so we now move on to agenda item 6, which is constituency issues. This item gives members who have previously given notice by the deadline the opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes on any particular matter relevant to their constituencies or any particular issues arising in their electoral division, which is relevant to the services provided by the County Council. This is an opportunity simply to air these issues in the council meeting. It will not give rise to a debate on the issues or a question and answer session. Members are reminded that there is a maximum time limit of 15 minutes for this item on the agenda, and each member may only speak for a maximum of 3 minutes, and any speeches not heard in the time limit will fall, but they can be submitted again for a future meeting. And we have 9 speeches booked today, and the first one is Councillor Lee Waters, and this is regarding highway issues related to Torquard medical practice in Hucknall. And apologies for the interruption. My vice chairman will be making a generous donation to my charity. So, Councillor Waters, over to you.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations to the new leader over there. Mr. Chairman, I'm speaking today about an important issue that I raised some months ago with council officers. It's about my request for the height of a drop curb on the south side of the crossing outside Torquard Hill Medical Centre in Hucknall to be lowered. Improving highways access to our most vulnerable residents should be a priority of this council, but I'm afraid it is not. My simple request will help improve the access to those in wheelchairs or mobility scooters to this medical centre in Hucknall. I have been told that this is now on the draft programme for improvements for 2025-26, but the council will not commit to carrying out the work as soon as possible because of stretched resources. I was contacted in May by a concerned constituent whose wife struggles to get into the health centre because of the height of the drop curb is just too great for an electric wheelchair to ride over. The resident's wife has frequent appointments at Torquard Hill Medical Centre and uses her electric wheelchair to get there, driving up Central Avenue. She then has to cross Rocknell Road, which, as members may know, is an extremely busy road with fast-moving traffic. The height of the drop curb on south side of the crossing outside Torquard Hill Medical Centre is just too great for the electric wheelchair to ride over. She has to stop the wheelchair in the middle of the westbound lane, do a 180-degree turn and reverse the chair onto the pavement. This she can do, but she's putting herself in danger. I am today hoping that by raising this issue at full council, the drop curb will be lowered as soon as possible. Further to this, it would be remiss not to mention that on Tuesday the 3rd of December, there was a serious road traffic accident outside Hillside Primary School in Hucknall. The serious crash involved a motorbike.
30 seconds.
Emergency services were called to Wood Lane in Hucknall, close to Hillside Primary School, at around 8 a.m. that day. I would like to wish all those injured a speedy recovery. I would like to praise the police for their efforts, and in particular the efforts of the Lollipop Lady, who I'd like to be formally recognised by this council, and I hope this council plays an active role in the investigation. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Waters. Bang on 3 minutes. Thank you for that. Our next speaker is Councillor Sue Saddington, and this is regarding a request for permanent traffic lights to be installed on Horton Bridge. So, Councillor Saddington, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Warmest congratulations to our new leader. Please take the driving seat, hold tight to it, and move us forward to deliver, as you have promised. Thank you. Horton was a small hamlet within my division. Around 70 residents live within the village. Owing to the construction of the Southern Relief Road, it has now been linked to Farndon, Newark, Middlebeck and Balderton, and has by no choice of its own become part of the villages and Newark. Recently, one road through Horton was closed for 6 months due to the road building. Temporary traffic lights were installed on the old bridge in Horton, which has a blind, sharp right-hand bend as you drive from Farndon towards Horton Village and vice versa. These lights were the saviour for motorists going in both directions. Drivers can neither see oncoming traffic nor pass each other. The traffic lights have now been removed. Residents have asked for years that permanent lights be installed on either side of the bridge, but their request has fallen on stony ground. Whilst the traffic lights were in situ recently, it made for excellent and safe driving. I am now on a mission. When the Southern Relief Road opens, it will connect the A1 at Fernwood and Balderton through Middlebeck, Horton, and will meet the A46 at Farndon. This is a single lane road and will become extremely busy, with traffic trying to avoid Newark, which is gridlocked every day. I may say it took me 2 separate half hours this morning in traffic queues. I think we know what will happen. Either a long queue will form on the new road as drivers join the A1 or A46, or a long queue will form as a result of an accident on the new road. Drivers will be keen to get from one side of Newark to the other and will cut through Horton. It is a foregone conclusion. We have already had a car upside down in a resident's garden. If traffic diverts through Horton, which it will, and is doing so already every day, there will be an accident on the bridge. I am here today with a petition to present shortly, signed by residents from Horton, Farndon, Thorpe and Elston. I am told we could wait for the accident. Really? Should we take the risk of injured drivers, damaged vehicles and worse still, drivers in the river, as happened at Kelham some years ago, which I witnessed? The driver and the car were both in the river. Kelham Bridge, I may say, is another issue for another day. Chairman, I trust permanent lights will be given the consideration they deserve, which will make safer driving and walking for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Saddington. And our next speaker is Councillor Garner, and this is regarding condition of roads in Mansfield South.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations on being the leader, and also congratulations to Ben for doing a good job for 3.5 years. Thank you. Right, I rise to speak in my division. Firstly, I'd like to thank the officers for getting the Lyndhurst Development bus route gritted and on the grit route. Now, other issues I have is residents are requesting on the Lyndhurst Development, when is it going to be made an adopted highway? Other issues I have is drains, gullies are constantly being blocked, some for years. You know, you just keep bringing up about them and they just keep getting blocked. And I know that I suppose Mansfield Council might have a bit of responsibility with not clearing the leaves up. However, we have had some drains what's been full for years. In fact, I just say more time. It's just like it's repetitive. Anyway, also residents have a lot of niggle with street lights. Firstly, street lights what are on all the time, and then the street lights what are not on. The street lights are not on. We do have a good job, and they do take about 5 to 10 days, but just lately they have been taking a bit longer. So I'd like to find out why that has happened. Right, well, so let me have a look what we got here. Go on the side. Right. This is the big grief. This is. Why don't this council stop ordering chaos in my division? I've just had a major traffic lights programme put in on Carter Lane. It's took 4 weeks. Now I don't have a problem with that. It's 4 weeks, but they don't start it when school holidays are on. No, they start it day after they come back. And I've got 3 schools. One school within 100 yard, what have 600 pupils. Then I've got the Runts School, which has 1,000, which use that road. And then I've got Samworth Academy. They're all trying to get to school, and it's 4-way traffic lights. And I just honestly just can't work it out. Why we do this? We have 6 weeks in holidays, summer. We have 2 weeks in October, 2 weeks at Easter, and all of a sudden we land up in middle of November in dark nights. Yeah, what else can we say? Yeah, that's that. Not that.
Well, you've got 10 seconds, whatever it was, 10 seconds.
Right, anyway, right, children's accommodation. I'd like to say I'm not against children's homes, but lots of my residents have complained.
You can't talk about it now because your time's up. Sorry, 3 minutes is up.
That's for an extension.
Extension.
Well, thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Councillor Garner. Our next speaker is Councillor Maggie McGrath, and this is regarding remembrance in Stapleford. So, Councillor McGrath, please.
Hold on a minute. Thank you, Chair. I'll just show you these first. And that's a corresponding plaque that goes. So if that just gives you an introduction on what we have been doing.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you. You can put it down now, Sheila. Thank you.
I didn't know whether you could do it, Chair.
You're not really supposed to, but
I'm supposed to. I've done it now.
Anyway,
I'll just say Forest Home before
the clock is ticking, so on you go.
I would like to speak briefly about this unique project that we're running in Stapleford. Next year is 80 years since the end of WW2. Many of us in this chamber would have family members and friends who served on the front and played their part back home. Ordinary people who went to defend their home and the freedom of our country on land, sea, air, everywhere, and the nurses and everything else. A number of people from Stapleford took this call up. Stapleford Town Council, along with Broxtowe and some funding from the government, applied to get all this done to honour our heroes for next year. Photos as you can see, and the place they were born, the unit they were killed in, where they were killed, is all on the plaque. That, as we're going to do next year, will be placed on the houses that are still in Stapleford. There's only one place that's been knocked down. We'll ask permission, so we're then going to form a route that children can go around, so it carries on the 80 years, right? The 80 years of that. We have had photo exhibitions, which we had in the library. library, thanks to Inspire. We've also had it in the church hall with the first 40 of the heroes. So the next batch is a 57, which was the amount of people that did give their lives. Next year we'll be putting that up. The remaining photos, we want that on the lamppost, please, because that will tie in with Remembrance Day and going towards the opening of the Steve Gerrard Academy. So there's a lot of things going off. So I'd appreciate it if the council and the bodies within here could help us to achieve our goal. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor McGrath. And our next speaker is Councillor Boyd Elliott, and this is regarding the condition of roads in Woodborough.
Thank you, Chairman. Firstly, let me congratulate Sam on his appointment. I'm sure with Sam as leader, it will be an example of Conservatives getting things done. Now, this came about because of the amazing schemes carried out in Calverton and Lamley, namely Wimbush Lane and Spring Lane. Some great resurfacing works there. So I'd like to discuss an important issue that affects our community, the condition of roads and pavements in Woodborough Village. As residents, we encounter these surfaces daily, and their quality directly impacts our safety, accessibility and overall quality of life. Firstly, I'd like to bring to your attention the state of our roads, many of them lined with potholes and uneven surfaces, which pose risks not only to vehicles but also to cyclists and pedestrians. These dangerous conditions can lead to accidents and damage to properties. Regular maintenance is essential to ensure safe travel for members of our community. Additionally, the pavements in Woodborough require immediate attention. In several areas, they have become cracked and uneven in comparison to our other villages, making it challenging for those with mobility issues, parents with prams and elderly residents to navigate. We must prioritise to create a safe environment for everyone. Our roads and pavements are well maintained. They encourage greater foot traffic and can foster a sense of community pride. People are more likely to walk, cycle or spend time outdoors in a well-kept environment, which promotes healthier lifestyles and stronger social ties. I'd like to urge our council, as I have done in Calverton and Lamley, Woodborough is in the centre of these two villages and they just feel a little bit forgotten. But towards addressing these issues in the current state of our infrastructure, community input is crucial in this process. I've encouraged residents to voice their concerns. Regular meetings, share their experiences.
More money.
More money for you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Garner. Councillor Eddie, continue.
It is vital that we come together as a community and advocate for these necessary changes because it's a lovely village. In conclusion, investing in pavements will enhance safety, accessibility and our overall quality of life in Woodborough Village. Let's work together to ensure our community, working with this council, getting things done so Woodborough remains a great place to live, visit and thrive. And I'm sure my residents of Woodborough will thank you for the positive changes in their beloved village. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. We did have 4 more speeches, but time is up for that item. So apologies to those colleagues, but we can, if you wish, you can submit them again for the next meeting. So we move on now to presentation of petitions. I was notified of 11 petitions by the deadline. May I remind members there is a 1-minute time limit for the presentation of each petition, and there is a maximum time limit of 15 minutes for this item. So the first petition is actually 2 from Councillor Saddington. The first one will be is a request for permanent traffic lights to be installed on Horton Bridge, and the second one will be a request for a 20-mile-per-hour limit through Elston Village. So Councillor Saddington, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I do, as you say, have a petition here signed by around 262 residents from the villages I mentioned in my 3-minute speech. And what they are wanting or asking for is the introduction of a 20-mile speed limit in the village of Elston, which has bends, narrow pavements and no pavements. And I might say they don't have any crossings, so people take their life in their hands to go across the road. Neither do they have any advisory signs of 20 miles an hour for the school. So they are asking for a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. Thank you, that's the first one. And the second one is the permanent traffic lights at Horton, at Horton Bridge. It's only wide enough, they say in their petition, for one vehicle at a time, and leads directly into a 60-degree bend, posing a significant hazard for all road users. And the road is used by cars, vans and HGVs with frequent near misses and congestion due to the inability of drivers to see oncoming traffic around the sharp bend. The temporary traffic lights have effectively mitigated these risks, which have now been taken away, preventing dangerous head-on encounters and improving the flow of traffic on this tricky stretch of road. So they are asking for permanent traffic lights on the bridge. Thank you. I'll bring them to you now.
Thank you, Councillor Saddington. Our next petition is from Councillor John Cotty, and this is a petition regarding improved SEND provision in Nottinghamshire.
Thank you, Chairman. I have a petition which, as of this morning, has 1,137 signatories, including some signatories from outside of the county. The petition calls on Nottinghamshire County Council to take action to improve special education needs and disabilities (SEND) services in our county. So I'd now like to present that petition to you. Thank you. Thank you.
And our next petition is Councillor Stephen Garner, and this is regarding yellow lines at the junction of Harlow Avenue and Nottingham Road. So, Councillor Garner.
Thanks, Chairman. I'd like to present this petition on behalf of 36 residents who request yellow lines on Harlow Avenue, Nottingham Road. It's because they cannot get out of the junction daily by obviously parking cars. And there's a special school ambulance what goes up and picks a child up from the road, which is very difficult to get up. So I'd just like to present this for you. Thank you.
And our next petition is from Councillor Regidare, and this is a request for resurfacing of Stonebridge Drive, East Leek. So, Councillor Adair.
Yes, Chairman. I've got a petition here from 187 local residents of Stonebridge Drive, East Leek, who are showing strong feelings regarding to the dangerous state of the road at the junction with Golden Road. Some signatures are from relatives and friends who visit and also include our tradespeople and the postman. So, Chairman, we need to get it sorted.
told to sort things out. Right, our next petition is Councillor Tom Smith, and this is requesting improvements to make Haywood Oaks Lane in Blidworth safer. So, Councillor Tom Smith.
Thank you, Chair. More than happy to present this petition to you today. Just to add some context, I met with Highways on Haywood Oaks on the 26th of March. And since that time, they've been working on tackling the issues that I raised with them. Very pleased to say that we've enacted a number of the issues requested in this petition already. So I will still hand it in to you, but just flagging Highways are on it, and we have already tackled most of the issues, and the ones that are not yet completed are ongoing.
And now I call Councillor Tracy Taylor, and this is a request for resurfacing of a road in Clayworth. Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm presenting this 140 signature petition, the majority of which are resident signatories, on behalf of Clayworth Parish Council. This asks for the major resurfacing of the B1403 Clayworth Common between Clayworth and Hayton. The significance of roads like this, B roads between rural communities, is too often undervalued, but this is the main arterial route from many of my northernmost villages to Retford and beyond. It's how my residents access services and infrastructure, work, education, healthcare and shops. It's 2 miles of narrow roadway between fieldside drainage dikes. There are several stretches where the road surface is split along its length and others which are sunken, including adverse cambers towards the dikes. This leads drivers to travel down the centre of the road rather than staying in lane. Residents are asking for a full and formal assessment of repairs needed for this road.
And our next petition is Councillor Nigel Moxon, and this is a request to review access plans for the Elmsley Health housing development in Mansfield. So, Councillor Moxon.
Thank you, Chairman. The 357 signatures on this petition wish to request that Nottinghamshire County Council's Highways Department takes another look at the proposals for a development of circa 800 houses around the junction of Eakring Road and Jubilee Way North in Mansfield, to be known as Elmsley Heath. The number of signatures is the tip of the iceberg at such short notice since the consultation event a couple of weeks ago. We believe the current proposals for access to the site and ongoing routes into and out of the estate are woefully insufficient and will cause further chaos on the roads that are probably at or close to capacity now. The proposed routes for access via Eakring Road and Jubilee Way North, leading onto Oak Tree Lane, are insufficient, and the other options are available to the developers that could alleviate the problems. We are requesting that the Highways Department looks at this proposal again and engages with the local community and residents to come up with alternative options, of which we believe there are viable alternatives. I'm grateful to my colleague, Councillor Rob Corden, and also to local campaigners Cheryl Adamson and Nick Marks for their help in turning this petition around at very short notice.
It's a good day for the charity today, isn't it? We have a good day for our charity today with all these phones going off, don't we? Yes, it's brilliant. Okay, moving on. We have 3 more petitions to come, and the next one is from Councillor Dave Shaw, and this is regarding parking issues on Knoll Drive, Hucknall. Councillor Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to hand the petition in of residents of Knoll Avenue, Hucknall West, requesting the conversion of a grassed area on Knoll Avenue to be off-street parking. Residents concerned about the lack of off-street parking in the area. Other areas on the estate have also been converted to off-road
parking, and I believe similar change will benefit the residents on this road. And it is important to note that the previous Conservative County Councillor had promised to sort this out and failed to do so. I am determined to take up this cause and hope this petition will lead to action. A 91-year-old person gave me a letter whilst collecting this and said 2 months ago the ambulance came to take me to hospital. It was impossible for me to get to hospital because the ambulance couldn't get outside my house due to cars being parked down both sides of the road. I hope that this petition will get things done. Thank you, Chair.
And the next petition is Councillor Lee Waters, and this is regarding parking issues on Long Hill Rise.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please find a petition regarding issues of parking on grass verges on Long Hill Rise in Hucknall. Residents have concerns about careless parking of cars, which is causing damage to the grass verges on Long Hill Rise, Hucknall. I understand that much of this parking has been done by non-residents and it's having a detrimental impact on the area. I agree with our local residents that our roads were not designed to handle the current volume of traffic, which is leading to parking issues throughout Hucknall, especially on this road. This petition calls for designated parking areas whilst also preserving the grass verges. Thank you.
And finally, Councillor Sybil Fielding, and this is regarding the state of the roads in Shire Oaks. Councillor Fielding.
Thank you, Chairman. This is from the residents, not only of residents of Shire Oaks, but it concerns the state of the road rapidly deteriorating, including potholes, ineffective patching and eroding road markings, and the state of the pedestrian crossing. It calls upon Nottinghamshire County Council to completely resurface the village and to upgrade the pedestrian crossing.
So, thank you, colleagues. I ask that the Council resolves that the petitions to be referred to the appropriate Cabinet members for consideration. A report will be brought back to the Council in due course in accordance with standing orders. Which moves us on to responses to petitions presented to the Chairman of the County Council, which are in your minute book. I move that the contents of the report and the actions approved be noted. Councillor Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just very briefly, just congratulations, Councillor Smith, on your appointment. I would err against using deliver as a fun because it reminds me of the old joke of the man that phones the chip shop and said, "Do you deliver?" And he said, "No, we do fishing with the chicken." Anyway, on page 34, petition B shows how a small petition of only 22 people can achieve something, because I'm pleased to say that Kilburn Close will be receiving major hotbox repairs on the 9th to the 13th of January. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Councillor Carr. And do we have any other speakers on this? It goes to show, I often say to people that people ask me about petitions, and people have it in their minds they have to have hundreds or thousands of names on. But a petition is a petition, isn't it? So however many names are on. Well, no, there we So we just need to, the report has been noted, so thank you for that. So we move on now to our item 8, which is Nottinghamshire Library Strategy Refresh. and I'll call Councillor Scott Carlton, who will move the recommendations in the report. So, Councillor Carlton, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I rise to present to you, full council, this morning the draft Nottinghamshire Library Strategy 2025 to 2035, as attached to Appendix A. The draft builds upon the successes of the last strategy, which has allowed our libraries to continue to provide warm, inclusive spaces for residents of all ages to be able to explore reading, enhance learning, and enable the development of new skills. Our library network also provides opportunities to explore our county's local history and culture, whilst also affording people simply the opportunity and the space to meet other people in a safe environment. Furthermore, over the lifetime of the last strategy, our network has seen an investment of £30 million, which has seen overall facilities enhanced, including greater access to digital services. As I highlighted in the budget debate earlier this year, independent research has shown that for every £1 spent on library services, a socio-economic return of just over £6 is gained. Whilst books, literacy and academic enablement are the bread and butter of our network, it is clear that our libraries are just more than simply a books on shelf service. They are truly pillars of our community right across our county. Additionally, Chairman, our library network has evolved to be an extension of this council's customer services team, providing value support and advice to residents when they might need it the most. The strategy which I present to you today provides the foundation upon which we can enhance that provision to ensure that this council continues to rise to the challenge of supporting our communities and their ever-evolving needs right across Nottinghamshire. As the report in paragraph 2 details, the council has a statutory duty to provide a comprehensive and efficient public library network. Since the publication of the last strategy in 2011, a refresh is required. As part of this process, a public consultation was held on the proposals as set out, with the results of said consultation being presented to Overview Committee on the 21st of November, where unanimous support was given. And I would like to take this opportunity, Chairman, to thank all members of the Overview Committee for their support, comments and feedback. For members' information, the breakdown of the consultation is contained within Appendix C of this report. Chairman, I will return to the consultation further in my remarks shortly, but firstly let me summarise the strategy, simply what it is for and what it is not for. So I'll start with what the strategy is for. The strategy is supporting the long-term sustainable development of our library service, as I've already alluded to, building on the successes of the last decade. The strategy also provides a framework that we can continue to improve the accessibility of the library service in response to ever-evolving community need, particularly around health and well-being. The strategy also provides the opportunity for some key definitions and terminology to be updated, while setting ambitious but achievable aims and actions. Chairman, let me also address what this strategy is not for. This strategy is not a strategy to close libraries. No proposals to close libraries are contained within it. This strategy is not a strategy proposing to reduce service provision. And finally, Chairman, this strategy is not a strategy proposing to replace paid staff with volunteers. I said at the beginning of this process in a media interview with Notts TV that I wanted to capture the voice, the opinions and indeed the concerns of residents if they had them over our proposals. Whilst the consultation overall showed strong support for the draft strategy, there was one part where the feedback was more mixed, and Chairman, I would like to address that now. Longer standing members will recall that the Council has used a tiering system since 2011, in line with many other local authorities. The initial draft proposal sought to introduce new descriptive phrases such as hub libraries, community libraries and library access points, which, with hindsight, allowed for misunderstanding and speculation, as was reflected in the consultation responses received. Chairman, it would be fair to say that we had slipped into traditional local government speak. In essence, we knew what we were proposing, but for those that we serve, they did not. I draw particular attention to page 33 of the strategy, where members will note that based upon this feedback,
I took the decision to remove the descriptive words initially used and propose to simply continue with the numeric descriptors as previously used on the tiers. What I will say, Chairman, is that this consultation process has demonstrated my firm commitment to capture the voice of our residents. It demonstrates that we've listened, acted upon those concerns raised. Furthermore, it's all got us collectively thinking about our libraries and what we want the service to look like continuing over the next 10 years. And Chairman, I believe that is a positive thing. Chairman, we have a proud record in Nottinghamshire of not only protecting our libraries but also investing in them. I've been very clear in providing guarantees to members and public alike that this administration will not close libraries, and today I stand by that guarantee, particularly at a time when other local authorities have or are consulting to close some of theirs. This draft strategy before us ensures that we can continue to maintain and enhance our network whilst exploring new opportunities to ensure that we, as a council, are best placed to continue serving the needs of our population. Chairman, the recommendations are contained on page 5 of this report at paragraph 29, and I formally move the recommendation that full council approves the Nottinghamshire Library Strategy 25 to 2035. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carlton. I'll call Councillor Gordon Wheeler, who will second the motion. Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm delighted to second the motion that I've reserved the right to speak. While I'm standing on here, can I actually offer my congratulations to Councillor Smith for becoming leader of this council? He'll do a smashing job, I have no doubt about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wheeler. I have some speakers who have indicated to speak already. So first on the list is Councillor Lee.
Chairman, thank you very much, and congratulations, Sam, on your elevation. We have a library in Boulderton. It's only a small library, but we love our library. And a few months ago, there were people causing shenanigans by saying that we were looking at closing the library. And obviously that has been made clear that it is untrue. I want to thank Councillor Scott Carlton for sitting with me at Nottinghamshire County Council. I arranged a meeting and he sat me down and explained what he intends to do. And it's great to hear that Boulderton, through the consultation, the residents will be listened to, and if it's needed, we will see more resources in Boulderton and not less. So the shenanigans that play by some will not be listened to. The residents will be listened to, and we will make sure we deliver. And I welcome working with my fellow Boulderton councillor, Councillor Sam Smith, and both of us together will be delivering for our residents because no one else is.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. Councillor Adams.
Thank you very much. I'll try not to get as close to the microphone. Yeah, I just want to really say about libraries. I've had quite an extensive sort of relationship with one of our libraries, Woodthorpe Library. I went to when I was at infant school, and when I was the councillor for Woodthorpe at Gedling Borough Council some time ago, I had the pleasure of running a light switch on event there as well, which Woodthorpe's quite an unusual place and it doesn't really have a centre. So it's sort of a lot of places have a place where you could say people could congregate and meet each other and catch up and all that sort of stuff. But Woodthorpe didn't have that. But what we did have was Woodthorpe Library, which had a fantastic grass space in front of it and an area where people could get together. So I made it my priority to do that, to sort of create a space where people could get together, catch up, and see how their friends and neighbours are. We used it to back a charity. It was going towards looking after hedgehogs, as it was, because it's that time of year, and hedgehogs have a difficult time in winter. So we did that, and it was a really, really positive event. The big man himself turned up, which is always an exciting time for everybody. We had some carols, and it was a really, really good event. And I just want to sort of paint that picture of why a part of libraries that maybe people don't initially think of is important, but it is that community centre. We also had a Diamond Jubilee event in there in 2012, and I was really glad when I got elected in 21 to the County Council to be able to have a discussion with Councillor John Cotty, who was the Cabinet member at the time,
around Woodthorpe Library's frontage, because paint had started to peel a bit and it was starting to look a bit unfriendly, not the place that I knew as a resident and a councillor. And I was really glad that he then got the team involved and the whole thing was repainted. On top of that, it was great again to then see in 2022 the investment coming in to our libraries, which has been mentioned already today. And again, that investment has improved the interiors of these libraries. It's made them a lot more accessible. It's made them places for people to meet. Again, you know, there's coffee available in there now. You can have a biscuit. One of my favourite things about Burton Joyce Library, which has also seen this incredible investment, is that they just have a jigsaw there, and you just go, you pop a piece in, and then you know you head off about your day picking the books that you require. But sometimes there'll be somebody just stood there with you, and it does give you an opportunity to have a catch up and a bit of a chat with the person there, because jigsaws, as we know, are sometimes a nightmare to complete. But again, it always reminds me of how social our library spaces are, which is why, again, I'm so incredibly proud, as I was in 2022, to hear from the then Cabinet Member, John Cotty, that our libraries will be protected and kept open. To then hear again in 2024, as my role as the Place Chair, the Chair of the Place Select Committee, to hear from the current Cabinet Member, Councillor Scott Carlton, that once again we are protecting our libraries. We should all be proud of that. Like it's already been mentioned, we're seeing services getting ransacked as a result of terrible financial management in other authorities. It's a sad state of affairs that's happening. We should all be proud in this council that we've done that, we've achieved that, and long may it continue, because you know what, libraries are really important for communities. They're the centre of many communities, and they also help educate communities as well, which will lift a lot of them out of poverty and into a financial stable future. Thank you very much, and well done, Scott.
Thank you, Councillor Adams. Councillor Allen, please.
Did you know you went to school where my children went to school, but not at the same time? I hesitate to say. I live within the site of a library. I can see it from my front door, and I have gone to libraries since I was 5 years old, and my grandfather took me and got me my own library ticket every time I went to see him. I also know that John Cotty is a big fan of libraries, and therefore I have known that the library service was as safe as it could be in his hands, or partly his hands. We welcome the fact that no libraries have closed across the county, and long may it be that way. It's very hard to know if we can afford this wonderful luxury, but hopefully it will go on for a long, long time. We certainly have the stock. In a previous life, some of you may know, I opened many libraries and was so delighted to see the way they are progressing with their decorations and also with the functions that they serve. I've seen many a play in a library which stays in my memory and will do so forever, and also poetry readings, and it's extended my scope of what you can do in Nottinghamshire. We agree with the extension of the Inspire's contract until 2026, and as I've just illustrated, they do some fantastic work all over Nottingham. We did have some concerns about the new tiering system, but now it's been explained to us, and we are not as fearful of it as we were before. May I also send good wishes to Peter Gore, who was in hospital last week, and I gather is now at home and recovering well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Allen. Yes, I'm sure we all send our good wishes to Peter. Councillor Cotty.
Thank you, Chairman. I think most people thought I would stand up and say a few words. So I'm going to do that with a little bit of history. When I became a councillor in 2001 when I came in and signed on, and my leader at the time, being Councillor Cutts, invited me to take over the opposition position of a culture portfolio, which I believe was at that time. And my brother said to me, "What job have you got at the county hall?" I said, "It's the culture portfolio." He says, "How the hell have you got that one?" And what it actually has done is that Councillor Cutts put me forward for it. I accepted it, and I have to say my passion was said by my colleague over there, Pauline, and I've enjoyed doing that job all the way through, and also been able to continue that role in the board of Inspire, and I'm pleased to be able to continue with that. We've moved on. Oh, the thing what I was going to say is I have to say thank you to a councillor of the Labour Party, Councillor Colin Bromfield, who sadly passed away a few years ago. But he came down to my office at the time, was sharing those, and he invited me to go on a tour around the county with the libraries to go and see where they were. He also then took me to conferences, Liverpool, Newcastle, Birmingham, and others, which actually opened my eyes to really what libraries deliver and the communities that aren't all the same with their libraries, and that different things are delivered to those libraries. So I'm not going to go into all other details, but I'm thankful for what I have done in the way of ensuring libraries are libraries and we don't close them. We try to find different ways to do that, and we have a fantastic amount of staff that work for Inspire that deliver what we get. So I'd just like to say thank you to Scott for putting forward this, and I'm really happy to support him. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cotty. Councillor Carr.
Thank you, Jan. I think one of the reasons why there's going to be unanimity, and there was at the Overview Committee as well on this, is that we don't actually treat libraries as a political football, and we all agree with each other that we should be. That's what we should be doing. Sorry. I've not said anything controversial, but there you go. We have to, and you were talking about history, John. I think one of the reasons why our libraries are in such a good place is because of that agreement across the floor here, and also the fact of a decision that was taken a while ago by the then Labour leader, Alan Rhodes, to actually establish Inspire, which did actually inspire a big resurgence in libraries and what libraries are used for across the whole of the county. And I will name them. That wasn't the case next door in Nottingham, which are now suffering as a result of that. So I'm going to make a plea, though, and this is probably one thing that I'm not unanimous on, and Councillor McGrath, I think, will appreciate this as well, that Stapleford Library got considerable funding from the Stapleford Towns deal, and John Doddy, of course, and so I think that actually that it should get automatic promotion from Tier 2 to Tier 1. I'm really pleased that my library in Beeston and Councillor Foles' library in Beeston is a major hub, but I really do think that we should look at Stapleford as well to be in the major hub. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Councillor Hollis.
Thank you, Chairman. Firstly, congratulations to Councillor Smith on becoming leader. He's got good taste in suits, so we'll colour coordinate more often. Well, Mr. Chairman, thank you for allowing me to speak on the Nottinghamshire Library strategy. And first, I want to pay tribute to Councillor John Cotty, who made us a promise 2 years ago that he wouldn't shut a single library after we questioned the council's intentions. John is committed to ensuring that we have a first-class library service and is a man of his word. I speak today to talk about the 28 libraries who have been categorised as Tier 3 libraries, including my own of Huthwaite. Huthwaite opened its own Carnegie Library funded library in 1913. The stone in the modernised doorway proudly reflects the funding for Huthwaite's free library, which gained from the philanthropic endeavours of the Scottish-born Andrew Carnegie. In 1913, the most popular books loaned out in Huthwaite included Peter Rabbit, The Wizard of Oz and The Secret Garden. This library has served Huthwaite for 111 years, but is now only open 12 hours a week. It opens Wednesdays 9:30 till 12:30, Thursday 2 to 5 p.m, and Fridays 2 to 5:30 p.m, and Saturday 9:30 to 12:30. Huthwaite Hub, which does an amazing job, is based in the rooms at the back of Huthwaite Library, but our library has so much more potential. I was speaking to Councillor Purdue Horan, who is campaigning for improvements at Blyth and Rainworth libraries. He tells me that according to this council's own media, independent research highlights that each £1 invested in the library service, activity generates a social return of £6.07. So this council's commitment to keeping libraries open is very welcome. My issue is with the tier system that has been reinstated. Residents in Huthwaite will just have a third tier service, an insult to the aims and the generosity of Mr. Carnegie. Whilst keeping the library open is welcome, we could do so much more. What continuing a tiered service shows is that this council has absolutely no intention of improving the services, opening hours in the second and third tier libraries. Would you agree with me that this council could be accused of presenting a fait accompli to residents at the start of this consultation? And do you feel this whole consultation has been unfair to the many communities who rely on the libraries that clearly benefit communities sixfold, as admitted by this council? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, congratulations to Councillor Smith. And Mr. Chairman, while I do have the floor, I have been blessed to be a member of this council for over a decade, and I have never seen a vice chairman spend so much time on his mobile phone and interrupt the meeting and be so political during his speeches. And I don't think it's appropriate, Mr.
Chairman, point of order.
No.
Chairman, it's been made clear that I have dyslexia. I write my notes on my phone. I don't have a pen and paper. That has been clear through the meeting, and he's making political jibes.
Thank you for the clarification, Councillor. I thank you for the reminder as well. Right, Councillor Bailey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Now, in my division of Worksop North, we'll have two libraries that people mainly go to. That is our Tier 3 library in Carlton Lindrick and Tier 1 in Worksop, which is a lot more major, a lot more traffic. I don't think that the tier system is inappropriate. I think it's common sense that some libraries will be bigger than others, more busier than others. So even though Carlton Lindrick is a Tier 3, I don't think that's an inappropriate tier. I suppose the biggest issue that people had with the initial consultation was the worry about closures and whether this was about downgrading our service. I'm very pleased about the reassurances that the Cabinet member has given and actually the agreement across the chamber on this issue. I think point 10 of the report actually makes it very clear that this is not about closing libraries. I think we should all welcome that. As others have mentioned in other areas of the country, Nottingham in particular, it's not so positive. Of course, libraries as a whole, although some authorities see them as a money sink, we don't see that here. Investment in our libraries is key. We have lots of benefits too. I mean, only last week, actually, I was joined by other councillors representing Worksop with a flood meeting where we had the Environmental Agency, Notts County Council, meeting with residents in our library service and speaking about the issues that matter. And if we don't have these library buildings and we don't have this service, where else are we going to have those meetings? So, of course, libraries aren't just books, they're about people. And I wholly support the strategy, and I very much welcome our approach to this service. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Bailey. And Councillor Doddy.
Thank you very much, Chair. It certainly has been a beautiful debate, and I don't think there's any doubt that we all love our libraries, and very nicely delivered by Councillor Carlson. What we do in our youth echoes into our later years, and we sort of touched on the idea that this is a socio-economic thing, but in a way it's social prescribing. And one of the interesting ways in which libraries affect us as we grow older was clarified by a study called the Nuns Study. It was done in America. You might say, what are the nuns doing in America? I don't know. But these were the nuns of the convent, which had about 600 nuns, the convent of Notre Dame. And they followed these nuns up until they died. And when they died, they took out their brains and they cut them up and examined them for signs of Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, the interesting thing was that when they look at the nuns, and these nuns were chosen because they didn't smoke, they didn't drink, there was no promiscuity, you had a certain level of expectation of the lifestyle that the people led during their lives. So they were consistent. When they looked at those studies, they found certain ones had dementia and certain ones did not, and many of them lived to be 100. They looked to see what was the difference between those two groups. And they went back to look at when these were 18-year-olds and turned up at the nuns' school and looked for admission. And one thing stood out, and that was something called linguistic density. Linguistic density, which occurs in our early years, was shown by those nuns that came in and said, "Hey up, me duck, it's great to be in the nunnery," were slightly different from those who said, "It's brilliant to be embraced by the spiritual enlightenment of the cloisters." And therefore it shows that dementia, one of the great plagues of society, is actually rooted in the very activities that we do as children. It's rooted in the very libraries that we're talking about here today. It's rooted, as Councillor Carlson says, in the socio-economic benefits. And who would think that by picking up a book like a Harry Potter book, that it would actually be the difference between you getting dementia when you get old and retaining it. And that's great, because Councillor Allen and Councillor Cotty are obviously great champions of libraries, so we'll be able to keep our eyes on them as they get older. So, ladies and gentlemen, I fully support this, and the £1 to £6 does not remotely take into account the tremendous benefit to the reduction of dementia in society as we all get older. It's a lovely presentation. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Doddy. Brain exercise. Councillor Fole, please.
Thank you, Councillor Doddy. I mean, every day's a school day, isn't it? That's great. Thank you. Okay, first to congratulate Councillor Smith and to acknowledge the work of Councillor Bradley as leader. I mean, our politics are quite different. That's for another day. But just to acknowledge the work that you've done and to recognise it's a tough job. Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. I too want to acknowledge the really good work that the library service does. It really does deliver. If we look at paragraph 7 in the report, where the strategy sets out the vision, which is to be at the heart of Nottinghamshire's communities and community life, which it really does, doesn't it? Which is absolutely great. I mean, we hold our regular services in Beeston Library, and I'm out about a fair bit, and I can see in action actually some of this work and actually the real value that it brings to some of our residents. So I think the point that Councillor Hollis made too about the social benefit is kind of well made. And just to say too as well about the cross-party, yes, Alan Rose really championed this and really kind of pushed this forward at a time when, although finances weren't quite as difficult as they are now, they certainly were difficult even then. So credit to him and credit to John Cotty too. I know that you've kind of followed on in that tradition. I would also support the suggestion that actually the Stapleford Library should actually kind of go up a tier 2. I think that's absolutely a really good point that Councillor Carr made. So lots of agreement across this council. So thank you very much for the library service for the work you do, and many congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fold. Councillor Henshaw.
Thanks for ringing me in, Chair, and I'd like to echo our leader's comments in relation to Ben and to the new leader. It's been mentioned about libraries not only being a place where books are stored, but more importantly, I think the places where people can go to gain knowledge, and more so nowadays, learn about other things in relation to the generality of learning. Councillor Adams mentioned when he was little in relation to the library. I always remember it was as a rite of passage. When you were young, you got your ticket for the children's library, and then when you got to 11 to 12, you progressed up to the big library, and it was sort of an event that you were sort of all look forward to. And Councillor Hollis mentioned the Carnegie connection. The old library in Mansfield has a wonderful carving on the side saying donated by Andrew Carnegie, and as we know, he funded many philanthropic things in and around the world. I only wish that some present-day billionaires had more of a philanthropic attitude towards doing socially decent things than trying to fund political parties. But that's another debate we can have. Recently, when I went, because we have in our division a small library on Ladybrook Lane, which is quite a vibrant and energetic place. I know it's only open 3 days a week, 4 days a week. We're possibly looking at getting it open more. But when we had the remembrance celebrations earlier on in November, the staff and the staff there put on a wonderful display of people in and around Ladybrook that had served. The interesting point in relation to that was I got a connection with the Old Mansfield Society, who gave us quite a bit of information. Not only that, but they also came in because people on Ladybrook Estate didn't know actually that in the 50s, after the Second World War, it was one of the biggest house building projects undertaken after that event, to give homes for heroes and get people into decent accommodation. And I asked the people at Old Mansfield Society. They put on an exhibition of Ladybrook before and Ladybrook after, which drew in quite a lot of people. So libraries can be used for many different things. I mean, even the policy in relation to libraries now, I mean, people are very concerned if there's even a rumour or an inkling of a rumour of a library closing. So this is why I think people get concerned. But I'm glad that you've given a full commitment to enhancing and developing and making sure that libraries aren't things of the past, that, like I remember, somebody once said to me, perhaps you should have spent more time in the library, but you know, that's somebody's point of view. But I always find that the staff to be helpful, the things that they put on in relation to the community, fantastic. And I would say that if there is, and there may not be, a change of administration next year, then I can assure everybody in this room we will have a commitment and policies to enhance and develop and make sure that libraries continue in the future. But I would fully support this motion. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Henshaw. Councillor Gowland, please.
Thank you. I'm delighted to see that everybody in this room is very keen on publicly funded libraries funded from local taxation. Clearly, the libraries are important for education. The library in my area is always full of people doing homework and studying there, so it's also important for inclusion into education for people who can't study at home. It's important for digital inclusivity for people who haven't got access to computers at home, and I think that's a really critical role. But I want to talk about their role in public health, and I just want to raise one issue. So the tier 1 and tier 2 libraries have got active roles in public health. The tier 3 libraries, it seems quite a passive role, and I'd like to ask if you could ask Inspire to try and make more active engagement in public health in the tier 3 libraries, because this is a key location where the council actually reaches the community and can engage with public health messaging. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gowland. This is a really good subject, and we've got 7 more speakers to go already. So the next speaker on this is Councillor Kerry.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and congratulations to Sam on your appointment. Well done. I'd like to start with just mentioning something that Councillor Allen, a word she used earlier, was libraries being a luxury. If we ever start to think about libraries being a luxury, we might start to lose them. So please don't use that word. They're an essential part of our community in many, many ways. So I'm grateful to Councillor Carlton for listening to the consultation about the tier system and retaining it. Thankful that we have both Chilwell and Towton tier 3s in our area. And I'd just also like to add the fact that we also have the mobile library coming to other parts of our division that's not accessible for people getting access to those other libraries. So that's an additional thing that I'm really thankful for. I go back a long way for Inham Nook Community Centre, where I was chairman a number of years ago, and we improved the facilities within there, both from a library perspective and from other rooms and stuff that other community people could meet and do other things, which is fantastic. And I think I was involved very heavily in getting the longer term commitment for the use of that building with the county council at that time. And I think that was when there was a Labour administration. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for listening. Well done.
Thank you, Councillor Kerry. Councillor Helen Ann Smith.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Councillor Smith and to Councillor Bradley. We haven't always agreed, we haven't always got along, but thank you for the work that you have done over the last few years. Mr. Chairman, I rise to talk specifically about Skegby Library, which is in Tier 3, and to ask Councillor Colton if he would consider looking at potentially changing the tier to a Tier 2, or looking at changing the opening hours for Skegby Library. Because as has been said, a lot of our libraries, they're not just libraries anymore, they're community hubs. And the local community groups do a lot of work with the library in Skegby, where they do, for example, a community food share. And if that was open more hours, that would be more beneficial, especially in this economic climate when people are struggling. Libraries are a safe place for people to go and read, eat from the food share programme, and it's somewhere warm for them to go, which some people are genuinely struggling this time of year. So I want to say a massive thank you to start with for not closing the libraries, but could you please look at just potentially increasing the opening hours at Skegby? I'll happily come and have a chat with you. You can take you to the library, introduce you to some of the volunteers there, if that's any help. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. And Councillor Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Obviously, we all agree on one thing, and that's the fact that our libraries are the hub of the communities. And I think I'm right in saying that I was probably one of the first councillors to have a community partnership library, and I'll speak for Councillor Madden because I know it was there, the Acacia Centre in Annesley, which is a marvellous facility. And of course, people are always fearful of change, and there's always a lot of hoo-ha about closing libraries, but all 3 of mine have been transitioned into community partnerships, and Councillor Cotty came to you all and made me look like a dwarf on the pictures. And they are a real hub. I mean, obviously, Jacksdale Community partnership is absolutely fantastic because the people that work there are dedicated, really dedicated, and they sit knitting poppies. They have French lessons, they have English classes, they have everything. They have all sorts of stuff going on there, the crochet and you name it, it goes on in that library. And I always worried about the fact that the younger generations may not be interested or intrigued by libraries because of these, where you can get everything. And of course the involvement of the partnerships and the strategy is welcome because it deals with those children as well. And I'm reminded that when my daughter went to university, their friends used to meet there and study the same lesson together, you know, and their homework. And so the libraries are really good for that. The one thing that does concern me about community partnership libraries is the continuity of the reliance upon volunteers. And I hope that we always get enough people who see through that and continue to support the libraries because they are a really welcome place. And I agree with Councillor Gowland about some of the tier 3 libraries being brought into the public health realm because obviously in rural isolation they are community hubs, and actually I've got all of the lowest community libraries in mind because in my village we've only got a mobile library and it's been coming ever since God was a lad. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. Councillor Girling, next on the list.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Before I go on to that, I'm a bit disappointed about the comment that Councillor Hollis made to the Deputy Chairman about using his phone to write his notes, because since then, Councillor Hollis has been on his phone most of the time, and I'm sure he's using it legitimately, writing notes down for whatever he's going to be saying next. And that's some things we use it for. We do actually look to maybe research something and maybe look something up, but also write notes. And I know you do suffer from dyslexia and have to use it and use that method. So I'm really sorry and sad that that's been pointed in your direction. However, Chairman, moving on. It'd be a bit remiss of me not to stand up and talk about this because a lot of the money that's being spent is from my portfolio in terms of renovating libraries, and which I'm really pleased to be able to do. And I think it was alluded to by the leader this morning about the £100 million receipts in the pipeline, which is all helping towards us to be able to do these sorts of things. And that just goes to show how my team, who got the certificate this morning, for an award this morning, are working together to bring all these sorts of things together. So I think it's really good. I think Councillor Carr was a little bit naive in his comment about them not being used as political footballs, because we've seen that they have been used as political footballs in the past. And I think that's really sad, really, because, you know, it's been said that Councillor Cotty it's been said that Councillor Cotty is completely committed to the libraries, and obviously Councillor Colton has reassured everybody that he is. But I want to make people completely aware this group is committed to libraries. You know, not had one dissent from this group in terms of what we're going to do, how we're going to progress, and what we want to make sure that the libraries continue to be there and survive. So, you know, that if that doesn't give you reassurance, and we've got to understand that if we're going to say that libraries might close and make those allegations, people work in those libraries, and it's not just librarians, cleaners. I mean, I had to go and visit a library where a cleaner had just been taken on, just that day. And she was worried that she was losing her job because of somebody saying the library was closing. So let's just think about this a little bit when we make these allegations. Have some basis, have some facts, have some reality behind it. Don't just make it up. Anyway, moving swiftly on. When I first became a councillor in 2000...
Hold just 1 second, Councillor. Councillor Carr, but Councillor Martin, point of order.
Yes, Chair. My point of order is that all of my libraries had employees and now they are totally run by volunteers, so that's the change.
Okay, thank you for that. Carry on, Councillor Girling.
Thank you. And when I first became councillor in 2005, I actually shadowed, was John Cotty's deputy, well, no, was it? Deputy. Yeah, nuisance, that's what it is. That's what it is. And so I understand what his brother was saying when they said they had him as culture, because at them days he was sort of just about on the Peter and Jane books, but he's actually progressed out of that now, so well done. Obviously being with the libraries that long, John, has really worked for you. But I think the real point is, as well, is, you know, libraries used to be the centre of a town. So, you know, when you saw London to Nottingham, for example, It was the Central Library in London to the Central Library in Nottingham, and that's what the distance was done on. And that was the same in towns as well, but maybe not so much in the villages. So they're a real significant place because it's part of the centre of that community. Well, those communities now, as we've seen, where we represent, are changing the shape, aren't they? Where we have development. So I think from a point of view, we maybe need to look at not always that library should be there where it is now, because it might not now be the centre of the community. It might not be in the right place for that library to be for the benefit of the community. So I think we need to look at, when we do our building rationalisation programme, which we're working through at the moment, maybe some libraries could be relocated, and that actually might then improve how much they're used, so it can be upgraded to another tier or whatever way you want to do it. So then Council Hollis's library might be in a better place. I don't know where it is. It might not be able to be moved, but some libraries might be able to be moved. So therefore, the use of it, because that's what it's all down to, how many people actually use the libraries. So we need to just be a bit open-minded about that, but it's not to close, and that's a really important thing. And that's it, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Girling. We have 7 more
Can I ask you
speakers.
a point of clarification, point of order, Mr.
Sorry,
Chairman?
yes, Councillor Holland.
Is Councillor Girling suggesting that we physically lift the 100-year-old building and relocate it, or is he suggesting that he closes my library and then relocates its services? I was just a bit unclear on what he was suggesting.
I would dare to suggest we probably know the answer to that. So we'll move on, because we have got 7 more speakers. Those colleagues who thought we'd be having lunch at 12:30 will be sadly disappointed, but this is such a great subject, we will continue. So the next speaker on the list is Councillor Wilmot.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I wasn't going to speak, but I think I ought to, really. Especially on how essential our libraries are. They really are absolutely essential. And looking at page 38, where the strategy overview is put, and it says the fulfilment of this vision is based on successful delivery across key services. I remember, the first item is on it about the community. I remember 40 years ago, when I was in charge of a number of miners' welfares, the amount of...
Can we just quieten down, please? Here, Councillor Wilmot. Carry on, Councillor Wilmot.
Thank you very much. I remember 40 years ago, when I was involved with the miners' welfares, how many individuals and organisations and community groups used to meet. It was 84 at the time. Most of those, unfortunately, now have disappeared. Why have they disappeared? Because the miners' welfare disappeared. The clubs that they used to go to also disappeared. And many of them have had to disappear because of the cost of keeping going. It's a problem, because places that are allowing them to come in are charging extortionate fees for community groups, and it's a real problem. But so that's why it's essential that our libraries must be used for the community groups as much as possible, for no charge. So to keep people, giving them the opportunity to meet, to talk, to live, because there's so many people with mental health issues at the moment who need help out there, and they need to be able to go to places where they can enjoy themselves a little bit and talk to people and get some advice, etc. Heritage and culture, yeah, absolutely essential if a place is going to survive. And it upsets me when I see how many levelling up bids have been paused, including the one in Hucknall, because of it's culture and heritage. They're not big issues. Of course, they're big issues. The culture of a place, it brings people into the area and makes districts and counties and also towns survive. And it's absolutely essential that we get this money and all the other areas, but unfortunately it's been paused. And I'm hoping the MP's listening about this, because I know she is, because it's essential that many of the areas get this money. Can I say, as far as learning, reading and literacy is concerned, it's essential that our libraries have more events on with professional providers and teachers, so that people can go into these libraries and learn things. The amount of antisocial behaviour that's going off at the moment, we all know. We've all got problems with it. We spend £1 million a year on it in Ashfield to try and combat the situation. But you'll only combat it if people get to learn about how to look after the children and so forth. And libraries are a very important part of this, to try and get the things sorted out. Can I say, I opened the Oaknell Christmas Carnival Lights situation yesterday, and to see so many people out there who had not been out for months, enjoying themselves. I did a speech, and I've just looked on Facebook, and 22,000 followers. Because what I said, trying to get everybody working together in the community and so forth. It was absolutely sensational last night in Hucknall. We had thousands of people there, thousands. And Santa Claus was overwhelmed. It really was, But I can say what a tremendous event it is, and that's how it needs to be in our libraries as well. Working together, getting people in there, making people learn things, have a community groups there, also doing as much as we possibly can. And so I'm thankful and that we've got our libraries, and may they reign forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wilmot. Councillor Lawton, please.
Yes, can I say, Mr. Chairman, you are good at your job. Councillor Doddy, I'm not so sure about my linguistic density. I wasn't brought up in libraries, I was brought up milking cows. So that's perhaps a lot to be answered for that, isn't there? Congratulations, Sam, on your elevation to the leader. Look forward to working with you in the future. We've got to put on record what a good job John Cotty did. He really did do a good job with our libraries. They were safe in his hands, and Scott has carried on the good work. And I think it's to their credit, really, that we have got a full suite of libraries, and we intend to keep a full suite of libraries. We do not intend to close any libraries. I have the smallest library in the county, Sutton-on-Trent, and we maintain that in the Methodist Church. It used to be in somebody's front room, actually. We used to rent their front room on Main Street in Sutton-on-Trent. An old lady used to look after it and open it 3 days a week. And so that is how important we believe, this administration believes, libraries are to all our communities. But I just really had to make a point from the leadership point of view as far as this administration is concerned. We have expanded the facilities in our libraries. We recognise that libraries are an important conduit into communities. And that's why we have spent money on many of the smaller libraries. For example, Bilsthorpe got a full refurbishment to allow adult social care facilities, our young people's facilities, to be able to use these hubs. And I have to pay credit to Peter Gore, because Peter Gore has taken on the mantle of this administration and the aims and objectives under Ben's leadership of making sure that our services are placed where they are most needed in our communities. And that is a real credit to his leadership into those areas where there are most at need. I have to say, I've got 3 libraries. Every single one of those parish councils, the libraries have been under political attack. People saying they're going to close, we're going to be sacking staff, and scaremongering for political ends. And that is completely wrong, and actually has backfired. They did exactly the same with the household waste recycling centres, and that has backfired. So perhaps these people should learn the lesson
Point of order,
of
Chair.
their ways. Councillor Martin, be brief.
For the sake of Councillor Lawton, I'll reiterate what I said. All of my libraries closed. They all got moved into other buildings. They all had employees, and now they're all run by volunteers. You may have had your library refurbished. Mine were moved. It works, but don't come out with that.
Thank you, Councillor Lawton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It is scaremongering. That's exactly what it is. It's what's previously said. It is completely scaremongering and playing political football with people's
Point
jobs.
of order,
And they
Mr.
should be
Chairman.
ashamed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councillor
No point of order.
Councillor Lawton
I'd just
accusing
like to,
anybody in this
hold-
chamber? Is Councillor Lawton
Councillor
accusing
Lawton, just
anybody
hold
in
it.
this chamber
What
of
point of order?
scaremongering?
What point of order?
Clarification. Right, don't think you are meant to ask me what point of order. It's the chairman.
Anyway,
and it's clarification.
Councillor Lawton, let
Sit down,
Councillor
please.
Carr have his point of order.
Okay.
Are you accusing anybody, and be careful what you say, in this council chamber of scaremongering about libraries closing? Or is it somebody else that isn't in this chamber?
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Councillor Lawton, if you
Thank you
want
very
to
much,
carry
Mr. Chairman. You should have come along to the three parish councils, and you would have seen that the individuals speaking up within those parishes. But anyway, so but we left it very clear with those communities that those libraries were safe and the people's jobs were safe, and that we were providing extra funding to maintain the level of service in those communities. So my final point really is congratulate this administration for the amount of time, effort and funding they have put into providing this excellent service for their communities. It matters. It absolutely matters. And it is so important for the education, particularly of our young. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Lawton. Just to keep you updated, we have 5 more speakers plus the mover and seconder. Just keep that in mind, colleagues. And Councillor Guilfoyle is the next speaker.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations to Councillor Smith, and I hope Councillor Brantley enjoys himself on the back benches. So, I just think what we ought to remember, it was a very brave decision to create Inspire, which gave this council and Inspire a lot of opportunities, and that has meant that they've been able to secure funding from other places that when they were under the umbrella of the county council, they couldn't do that. It also gave an opportunity for this council to make some savings in the long term. The only thing that I've always asked is that we at least continue to give them inflation increases so that it doesn't impact on them significantly. I think also what we miss is that we set the strategy. This council, today the strategy here, which we all welcome, but it's the board at Inspire that ensure that it's delivered, and that they, under Peter Gore's leadership, which I think we all recognise, and I wish him well as other people have, and the chairs, the various chairs, right through from Labour chairs through to John and various others who have chaired the Inspire board, who have enabled the libraries to change dramatically from what they used to be to what they are now. I would urge all members to join Inspire. I'm a member and I get regular emails from Inspire. I've just received one today telling us what's going on in various libraries, and it's unbelievable, isn't it? From when you look at it, from an Xmas market, they're going to have one in Worksop, jazz, films, art exhibitions, music. It's an entire cultural experience. The issue about lending and borrowing books is just it seems to just be a side issue in reality to what's going off now in our libraries. I'm particularly proud of the one that we've got and the one I've got in Worksop. My grandkid, as soon as they were 6 months old, were took in and joined. They could join at that age and did do, and they go in now. Well, one's 2 and the other one's 4. We still go in at least once a week, just because of the atmosphere and what they get out of it. And I would urge people that it is something that we must cherish, and it's something that we must keep, and we must make sure that we don't
lose that. I always hear when people talk about rationalisation, Keith, and whatever else, and it will be used, because if you're going to move a library, you're going to have to close one down to move it, and people will be affected by that. So I hope that there's a lot of careful thought that goes through to make sure that those libraries are still in the same place where people can get to, and good transport links. Also, can I just remind people that there's a concert going off on the 9th of December, and I can't get to it. It's one of those issues where I can't get. But what I will do is I'll be watching it online, and it's a fantastic concert. Again, all done by Inspire, and it shows what young people in Nottinghamshire can do. And I think everybody, if you get the opportunity, get on the link and watch that on the 9th. No, I think we've done a brilliant job. As I say, Worksop's fantastic. It's a hub. It's got social care in there, and it's got the register office, and it's got the marriage facility. It's absolutely fantastic, and I hope that what we can do is continue in that vein for the future. And I know our side have always supported that, and I know that there's always been, through John and everything, I've sat on the board with him, there's always been agreement about that they are an essential part of Nottinghamshire's life. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Guilfoyle. You actually mentioned something I was going to mention as well about the concert coming up on Monday. It's at the Royal Concert Hall on Monday the 9th, and if you go in person, you experience the wonderful atmosphere in the concert, but as you say, you can see it online. Right, now let's make a decision here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more speakers, plus the mover and seconder. I'm conscious that we've been sitting here for time now, and I've been advised that we can actually adjourn an item during this discussion. So if colleagues are happy, shall we adjourn now for lunch?
Yeah.
And then we'll come back here for well, it's 12:45 now. Let's get back here in just over an hour's time. One full stop. Councillor Fall, very quickly. Sorry,
it's very cold in here. I'm just saying. Well, the temperatures are a little bit on the chilly side.
Cool. It will cool down when we've gone. So we'll be back here at 1:45. Thank you.